Thank you for joining me on this Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. I want to go over three things. The two spots that we're going to see flooding and the higher potential of flooding. And then I want to get into the steering conditions, why we have seen this pattern. It started early in the season with that flooding in that southern tract. So I want to get into that. So three things I'm watching. The first thing, Eastern Caribbean. As we go throughout this week into the weekend, the higher flood threat is Dominica south. We're still dealing with issues around Dominica with the mudslides, watching down towards St. Lucia, where we had some isolated flooding in spots yesterday. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, even on the edge of Guyana, and then back through Aruba, Curacao, Bonaire, and northern Venezuela. Potential of flooding here. Not that we're not going to get any rain, St. Kitts, Nevis, Montserrat, Guadeloupe, for example, Anguilla and the Virgin Islands, but this is where the moisture plume is. All right, the second area I'm watching is the southern Caribbean as we pull back toward Central America and even edging its way as high north as the Cayman Islands and Jamaica. But this pocket in particular, in this one will be over the next 2 weeks, throughout this week into next week. That rain, that moisture plume that comes out of the southern Caribbean, the eastern Caribbean, just kind of stays in the southern Caribbean and then moves into here. And eventually that chance of rain is going to be increasing in Belize. So this is that second spot that we're going to see that higher chance of rain. I'm going to get into that in a second with the satellite. I want to show you the blob. There's a blob sitting down here of heavier weather that corresponds to exactly what I'm talking about. And here's why and what's going on this season. Now, right now, there's a lot of fronts up here and high pressure is in control. There's typically high pressure there, but this season, early in the season, and even during the middle of the season, and now late in the hurricane season, this area of high pressure is a little more south than usual. That is keeping that moisture plume around, just kind of that train of rain and storm, southern Caribbean. Then this time of year, because there's fronts in the United States, what happens is as this kind of moves across and away from the area of high pressure, these fronts help pick up some of the rain and kind of draw it back to the north. And that's why near Mexico and Belize, as I mentioned, even the Cayman Islands, we'll see that chance of rain increasing later this week and into next week. So this is kind of the setup with those steering conditions. As promised, look at that blob right there. This is where we're seeing rain. Keeping an eye on scattered showers and storms elsewhere. We've had some near Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico, we had rain yesterday. We have some nearby now and through the Virgin Islands, both British and U.S. Virgin Islands. And then here's that blob of rain here. Monitoring this, you see that rain near Costa Rica, Panama, Nicaragua, our friends in the islands as we get back through Colombia, the mainland, and then back through Venezuela and the ABC Islands, a chance of scattered showers and storms. So here's the model. 4 o'clock today, as I mentioned, the two spots I'm watching, one right here. Look at all that rain moving into Costa Rica, Panama, parts of Colombia, flooding a potential. I'll get into those rain totals. I want to show you those rain totals in a second, both in millimeters and inches to try to get you covered best I can. Scattered showers and storms, Venezuela, Trinidad and Tobago this afternoon, and Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Anguilla, Antigua, and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis. Seeing some of the rain and storms, that's kind of scattered about, but you see how it's more widespread here. Let's go from Tuesday today into tomorrow, take you into tomorrow afternoon. Look at this rain. Now, one thing I want to mention is I'm still not seeing signs that something's going to develop into a tropical storm, a tropical depression, or a tropical storm. If that does happen, it could be somewhere over here as we get into next week, just because there's going to be so much moisture here, even leftover moistures from front. So this is that hot spot to watch. This is 4 o'clock tomorrow, watching out for flooding. And then you see green peppered on the map. Look at this moisture that's going to feed in. That's that second area I was talking about, Trinidad and Tobago. We've been dealing with some flooding in spots, I want to say the last couple days, but more so the last several months. Again, we had that early start to the season with systems coming at us, not organized, but those tropical waves that kept coming at us in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, let me get you into our Thursday, late on Thursday. And you see how the moisture, we still have it here, but it's also building up here. So you see some of the rain starting to increase near Belize and Honduras, Cayman Islands, Jamaica, scattered showers and storms, a better chance later this week. And keeping an eye on that moisture out there, some of that rain that will filter in. So the active pattern, the two spots I'm watching, the focus, southern Caribbean, but I still got us covered, of course, back through Puerto Rico, even up through the Bahamas. Now, as far as the rain is concerned. Just a lot of color, so I want to show you, and this stands out. These are 2-day totals. Look right here, Dominica south, especially the more south you go, watching near the ABC Islands in Venezuela, and look at this shading here, this coloring here. These are the forecasted rain totals over the next 2 days. Basically, the brighter colors could be upwards of 125 millimeters or 5 inches of rain for a 2-day total. So just taking this as a whole, in this area, we could see flooding. In this area, we could see flooding. And then a couple days from now, we're going to see it increasing. I mentioned near Belize and Honduras. So watching out for the possibility of some isolated flooding as well. But we'll still see some scattered showers and storms. U.S. Virgin Islands, British Virgin Islands. I'll watch over towards St. Croix, St. Martin, St. John for that potential of some rain and storms scattered about, not organized. And again, as we work our way back through Puerto Rico. All right, no name system out there now, which is awesome. Couple weeks left in the hurricane season. The next name on the list is Owen. Paula after that. Please keep me posted on what's going on where you are, trying to watch those areas in particular for flooding. I monitor everyone, but again, just because that flood threat is growing in a couple of spots, that's what I'll be watching. And then I'll keep an eye on the potential of some development back toward the Western Caribbean as we get into the weekend and next week. Thank you for being part of this weather community and sharing it. I hope you have a good day ahead.